Hello, everyone. Here's your weather hazard briefing for Thanksgiving and through the rest of the Thanksgiving holiday weekend. We do have a better chance of rain and snow arriving on Friday and in some areas again on Sunday. But the trend after today, we've had these mild temperatures in the afternoon. We cool off a little bit tomorrow. We cool off even more over the weekend. So basically going from 10, 15 degrees above average to back to where we should be to start out December in terms of climatological numbers. Like I said, there's that better chance of precipitation Friday and Friday night. A few light showers around for today. And this occasional rain and snow persists into early next week. However, we've been talking about those colder temperatures. The trend has been warmer ever so slightly each day versus, we were talking about earlier on in the week. Temperatures over the weekend may not get above freezing. That may occur in a few spots, but more areas should stay above freezing and maybe even a little bit above 40 degrees by the time we get out of the weekend period. Our weather risk outlook does not show a lot at all in terms of impacts with that wave tomorrow on Friday. Maybe some of the passes in the Eastern Highlands and also going over Lost Trail Pass might be a little bit of an impact from snowfall. And then going into Sunday across the South Hills and the Southeast Highlands. That track on Sunday, where we get a little bit more snow and potential for impacts, it's all highly dependent on where this low tracks. And right now, most precipitation does fall closer to the Utah border. But if that low moves up, crosses the area farther north or farther south, we'll have to adjust that band of precipitation. It's going to be mainly in the form of snow, obviously, for Sunday. And then we kind of dry out in a few spots for the first day of December. Hard to believe they're already almost through the month of November. Looking at the satellite, though, you'll notice we've got some moisture moving through, but there's a pretty good clear slot, at least for a few hours today, and then we'll start to see that next system scooting on into the western part of the United States. So how are things looking for the rest of today and through the next several hours into tomorrow? That first band moves on to the east. We might see a few more showers moving in later on this afternoon. But the bulk of the moisture with this next system, and this system's coming in from the northwest more than coming in straight off the Pacific. And that kind of changes the trajectory of where we'll get some better precipitation totals, not only for tomorrow, but over the next few days with anything that comes in starting with that system tomorrow. You'll notice most of the moisture stays toward north later on this evening and overnight, and then we start to see it overnight into tomorrow dropping south into the east, and we'll continue this all the way through tomorrow afternoon. The bulk of the moisture is going to be over the central mountains again, but going beyond the time frame of our forecast here, this actually will dip down into the southeast corner. So, we haven't had a lot of precip around Bear Lake, the Bear River Range, maybe a few sprinkles and flurries in parts of the Snake Plain down into the Pocatello area. A little better chance of at least getting something to try to measure in those areas with this next system tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow night across those areas. So, heading back to the rest of the forecast, temperatures today, not too bad. We're usually running, in the 30s. We're talking almost 50 in Idaho Falls, low to mid 50s, Pocatello down towards Preston, Oakley, Burley, even some low 60s once you head over towards the Boise area, even almost 50 up at Stanley for this afternoon. And most of that moisture we're seeing the rest of today is going to be in the eastern highlands over into western Wyoming, also across portions of southwest Montana. Maybe a little light precipitation up across Lemhi County in the higher elevations, but anything measurable is going to be basically over into western Wyoming during the day today. Now for tonight, temperatures off into the 20s and 30s. Some spots not really getting below freezing overnight. Temperatures in the colder spots, though, will be down in the teens for overnight lows. And you can see that precipitation starting to move into portions through the Idaho Panhandle, western Montana, trying to settle into portions of Lemhi County by sunrise tomorrow. And you'll notice that really doesn't change in terms of the amount of snow we're going to see out of that either. Just a skiff of snow in a few spots, less than an inch up on Lost Trail Pass. Going into tomorrow, you'll notice those temperatures starting to drop off some, but we're still running above average for this time of year, even with temperatures falling back into the 30s and 40s for afternoon highs on Friday. You can see the moisture really kind of focuses, at least the first part of the day, Lost Trail Pass, Lamb County, southwestern, south central Montana, into the central mountains. Also trying to drop farther south along the Wyoming border towards the Star Valley, down towards Cokeville, and also down into the Bear River Range for tomorrow afternoon. In terms of snowfall, most of the heavier snowfall potential falls in Montana, the Idaho Panhandle. We could see a couple of inches during the day tomorrow at some point up around Lost Trail Pass. Higher elevations could see a couple of inches as well, but not much over an inch in the central mountains. Once you get down into Custer County, maybe an inch or two in the higher elevations. For the Tetons, down into the big holes, down into portions of southwest Wyoming. That's for at least during the day tomorrow. Tomorrow night, you'll start to see that moisture shifting farther south into the east, rotating farther south for tomorrow night into early Saturday morning. Most of the moisture is in the Tetons, the big holes, southwest Wyoming. Those areas could see a couple of inches or more of snow in the higher elevations, especially into the Tetons. Just light amounts elsewhere across the area by the time we get to close to sunrise on Saturday. Saturday, really not much expected precipitation-wise, but you'll notice those cooler temperatures coming into our area. Afternoon highs maybe get to 40 in Burley, low 40s for Oakley, Malta, down along the Utah border. Certainly, once you get into the Treasure Valley, you'll see temperatures well into the 40s for Saturday afternoon. For Sunday afternoon, we continue to drop temperatures back a few degrees as well. Most areas staying in the mid-30s for afternoon highs, at least where the population centers are for Sunday across the area. It's still right around 35, 36 in Chalice and Stanley for the afternoon highs on Sunday. And Monday, we kind of fluctuate those temperatures a little bit. And the precipitation, like we said, Sunday into Monday. Right now, the low kind of tracks closer to the Utah border. That's where it takes most of that moisture Sunday into Sunday night. We shift it to the north. It pushes that moisture up into the central mountains, the eastern highlands. It drops any farther south. We could basically be dry on Sunday into Sunday night across the area. But certainly the trend is going to be those above average temperatures we've had. They're pretty much gone for at least a few days once we get through today and tomorrow. Have a great Thanksgiving. If you're traveling, be safe out there. And if you're traveling anywhere for the holiday weekend, be safe while you're traveling.